Hello, I wanted to make a comment on the glorifying of war by many cultures as the ultimate way to show patriotism. And I think we need to put a stop to it because, first of all, I mean, it almost sounds, it doesn't almost sound, you hear it in the United States and many other countries um, that people consider the ultimate patriots to be people who are in the military, and I disagree. That and not only that, they use it as a political uh, pawn. They use veterans as political pawns, and you know, I just think it's obscene that we have to tell people that we tell people that um, the only true patriots or the standard for patriotism is somebody who works or works for the military. Uh, I don't know about you, but I think patriots, not are coming in every from every walk of life, from every career. There are housewives. There are mothers who are the absolute um, most amazing patriots I've ever seen. The people who work in the communities and who live in the communities from which we get those soldiers and which are mainly of all communities are mainly low income communities, which low income and minority communities are the ones that are given the United States and mostly most countries. They're the ones who give the military their personnel. Um, and For instance, I asked the judges. I work and I'm a certified interpreter, and I asked the judges why, because veterans have a special. They get special treatment when they get in trouble when they commit a crime, at least in Orlando. And I asked them, why is it that the communities who give us are those veterans and everybody else um, don't those communities don't get the same treatment as the veterans when they commit a crime. And their reasoning is, well, it's because they're not doing the sacrifice. It's like, I'm sorry, that I just hear you say that the mother and the father in the black neighborhood who whose child signs up for the military are not sacrificing anything. How do you think those members of the community that go into the military made it alive and educated themselves? They didn't educate themselves. Their families and their community raised them. Yet the communities where this servicemen and women are coming from are being targeted and have been targeted for a long time, especially if they're Latino or black, have been targeted by law enforcement for mass incarceration, by laws and by policies such as the racist drug war that are intrinsically racist. They were designed to mass incarcerate black, Latinos, and leftist people. So um, I don't think that a person who's in the military is more of a patriot than the person who's teaching children at a school, than the teacher, than the policeman, than the lady at working for chump change at the local fast food restaurant, than your waiter, than than the person who drives a cab, who drives an Uber, than the mother, that's got two kids. By the way, a lot of the service people, uh, it, that a lot of the servicemen and women in this country come from single parent. A lot of them from single parent homes, and the stress, the amount of stress that those parents go through when their children are go to the military, knowing full well that they might not come back. Is amazing. It's very high. So, um, I think we need to stop glorifying war as a means to become a patriot or a respected member of society. The reality is that the rich and the powerful always use the poor to fight their wars for them, and we're still doing that in the United States. Look at the last war, the still in Afghanistan, 16 years, the longest United States war ever. Um, then look at what happened in the Gulf Wars. There were like over a million Iraqi civilians killed, which they destabilized the entire region, and now we have an absolute catastrophe in the Middle East and all over the world, because when you go out and you bomb and you kill a bunch of people for the profit of the U.S. corporations, or any corporation, they're going and you destroy their families, you murder them, so some of them are gonna pick up weapons. You left them nothing, and they're gonna come back and hit the so-called terrorism with terrorism, which with terrorism, the real terrorism comes from corporations who fund these wars for their profit, in the military-industrial complex. Who, if we don't um, get rid of these people, or have control over them, they're going to end up destroying the planet and humanity and the species. Um, so this business of following blindly. Oh, it's honorable to go out there and kill people by the hundreds, by the millions, by the hundreds of thousands, in defense of what? Oil, or the bottom line for Halliburton, so they can charge $100 per wash load at their laundromat in Iraq or Afghanistan, which is what they're doing. Um, so we need to stop teaching our children that war is honorable. War is the lowest possible expression of humans, um, and it should be an absolute last resort when there's no other option, and the only, and it should be in a controlled fashion, and so that at least amount of collateral damage, or people, or innocent people get killed. Um, so I think we failed. We're continuing to fail our children by glorifying war, and by glorifying um, you know militarization as the only way and as the supreme way to show patriotism. I show patriotism every day, um, and by working, by taking care of my loved ones, by trying not to harm others, um, by living in the best honorable way I can, where nobody's perfect, but we try. And I think patriots are everywhere. Just walk into your neighborhood convenience store, the lady, the cashier at the 7-Eleven, all those people. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how they do it, with the crap salaries that they get from the greedy ass corporations that exploit them. Those are my heroes, and I'm gonna continue to fight for those people, and voice my concerns so that they get paid better money and better conditions and stuff like that. Thank you very much.